Welcome to Unbiased and on the Fence. I'm Shane. Thank you so much for joining. Well, the subject of disclosure keeps coming up. Now, I don't really talk about the dark side of the elite very much on this channel, but there is, whenever I pick up information about these disturbing details of the elite, I sort of just kind of take them and set them on the shelf just so I'm aware of them. But even though I'm aware of so much of what goes on behind the scenes with their just all the filth that they're into, when it finally does come to the surface, it will be a shock to people who are already aware of it. Now, for people who are not at all aware of some of the things going on, this will be a real mind trip for you. So I think it's important, like one of my viewers, Jamie, said earlier, to focus on the positive. And when their reign comes to an end and you get all these disturbing details, I think it's important to focus on the fact that they're coming to an end, not on the horrific atrocities that they've committed over the years. Many of them we've heard about, many of them we haven't. We don't really know if it's going to be a soft disclosure where we just get some of the details, or if it's going to be a full disclosure where we've got so many details coming out about technology, along with all of their dirty little secrets they've been keeping. But one of my subscribers, Angela, sent me an email with a link that I thought was just right on. I resonated with it so much. So I wanted to share it today because I think it's important that we prepare ourselves, because when I look at this leaked information that's coming out and it looks like things are finally coming to a head, many of us have been waiting a very long time for this day, and I believe it could be upon us. But it won't be easy. It will be it'll be something that you can't get away from. Typically, if you go to work and you're out with other people, everybody's going to say things like, "Did you hear about this? Did you hear about that?" And it's important that we stay grounded at this time, if in fact all of this stuff does come out. So I want to share this with you guys. It comes from galacticconnection.com. The link is below in the description. It's entitled "The Storm Before the Calm." It's written by Mary Jane Banks. Thank you so much for writing this. You can tell she's a writer. It was very well written. She writes, "It seems that Christmas is coming both literally and metaphorically this year, based on what is culminating behind the scenes of our collective reality. What used to be a dream or concept finally seems to be manifesting, and we are co-creating it with our unwillingness to accept anything less than the truth. With our heartfelt desire for peace, equality, love, and freedom, and with our deep knowing that, finally, it's time. We have pioneered a resonant pathway to freedom that gains strength as each newly awakened wave of consciousness contributes its unique expression. When the tipping point finally hits and the dominoes of truth start rippling into the consensus reality, our greatest service will be to maintain a grounded, compassionate, and balanced presence in order to minimize chaos. This could mean choosing not to rev people up with more information than they can process, not to force feed them or take on the truth, not succumbing to saying, 'I told you so,' and not falling into old patterns of dissecting who's at fault and who needs to pay. Digesting radical change is not unlike digesting food. It needs to be done one well-chewed bite at a time. Yet this may not be possible once the avalanche of truth and disinformation hits the masses. It is important for us to understand the value of holding a balanced, loving vibration as the ultimate transformer of discord and distortion. This isn't about shying away from or denying the truth, but instead having the courage to digest the truth without being poisoned by it. We may be called to act as grounding rods or pressure cooker valves to diffuse other people's unbalanced energy. Or we may need to put on our own oxygen mask and rebalance before we attempt to help anyone else. The goal in the transition is to choose love over fear and to model peace and unity over divisiveness. The new energy asks us to take responsibility for ourselves, including our thoughts, intentions, emotions, and actions. This is the only way out of the old divide and conquer energetic that has crippled humanity for millennia. Being awake isn't just about awareness of the global control agenda. Humanity has been purposefully corralled into a limited bandwidth of linear logic, reactive emotion, and competitive survivalism. But all along, our expanded, innately creative consciousness has been waiting in the wings for us to perceive and retrieve it. The complexity of the illusion would not have been needed were it not for humanity's incredible creative power. The point wasn't just to imprison us, but to handicap us into coloring within very narrow lines and creating within a very small box, to trick us into believing we had no power, so our power could be siphoned off and used against us. Being awake means more than just recognizing we have been imprisoned within an illusory reality. It means stepping outside the comfort zone of that illusion to discover what lies beyond it. Many of us are already having fun with that discovery and laying new pathways for others to link into. The new challenge is to create from a clean slate rather than unconsciously dragging the past in terms of old assumptions, traumas, conflicts, fears, and expectations with us into the future. The truth will undoubtedly crack the matrix open, but the power of our free will and creativity is needed to completely dismantle the old and let it fall away. On a fundamental level, this is why we are the change we wish to see and why the solution can't be created from the same level of consciousness as the problem. To succeed, we need to focus on fueling harmonic vibrations, not being distracted or diverted by the distorted ones. Put another way, we are being called to fuel the higher timelines and to starve the lower, dualistic ones into oblivion by ceasing to engage in them. This doesn't mean we can't observe the demise of the old. We just have to resist the temptation of perpetuating it by giving it our energy. The more we practice raising ourselves out of the old, the easier it becomes. But it is a choice we have to make individually and repeatedly until we release the habit of limitation. The storm that the truth will bring will undoubtedly be shocking and destabilizing for some, and cleansing and satisfying for others. But let's make it short-lived by grounding the restorative calm of cooperation, compassion, peace, gratitude, love, and empowered creativity. This is our cue to create our way to true freedom. And a big thank you to Mary Jane Banks for writing that. It definitely resonated with me, and I'm sure it will with a lot of you that have been following all of this stuff going on. So let's keep our fingers crossed and hope this cleansing does in fact take place. So until next time, have a good one.